There's a saying in sports that is records were made to be broken. But right now in our current time, I feel like the saying that we should have is plans were made to be changed. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like planning right now is sometimes just an act of futility because there's so many adjustments and so many changes that come so often. And for me, I don't know about for you, but that can leave me feeling pretty frustrated and sometimes going, why did I ever try to plan anything in the first place? And the idea of trying to have some control of what's coming or what's coming next seems like a very nice idea, but it's just not something many of us have very often right now. And I was reading in John chapter 14, and it brought this up to me, but it just made me realize how much the lack of control and the constant changing and the constant adjusting really just takes the peace away from me. It creates frustration inside of me and just kind of gives me an angst or a frustration or a lack of patience with even trying to do any more planning. But as I was reading this, it was just such a clear message and such a cool thing that I wanted to share with you. John chapter 14, verse 15, or starting in 15 says this: "If you love me, keep my commandments, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to help you and be with you forever, the Spirit of truth. The world cannot accept him because it neither sees him nor knows him, but you know him, for he lives with you and will be in you. I will not leave you as orphans. I will come to you." And then in verse 25, if you move on, it says, "All this I have spoken while still with you. But the advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you all things and will remind you of everything I have said to you. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." And to me, that was just such a positive reminder of, though things are constantly changing and there's a lot of frustration, my job is not to know it all. My job is not to have the future figured out. My job is not always to know the next step. My job is to know that I have the Holy Spirit in me, to listen for that and to obey. To simply obey whatever it is that God is calling me to, and to trust in that and let my heart be at peace in that. Even though I'm not in control, my role is not to be in control. My role is simply to obey, and in that to have the peace that I know God will give me. So I hope that helps for you too. If you're like me and you feel like plans have been constantly changing, my hope is that you can kind of take your hands off a little bit and simply realize our job is to obey, and then to allow God to have that control, and for us to have the peace of knowing our job is simply to obey, not to know it all.